guys, today I'm gonna show you how to make these. Don't you love them? I do. Today I am channeling Tasha Tudor. Tasha lived in a home in Vermont, a little cape, just like mine. She had lots of gardens, just like I have. She was a little older than me and a lot skinnier than me, but she wore a kerchief on her head, just like I'm wearing, with her gray hair coming out, which, since you know what, I'm pretty gray. Her little glasses hanging down her nose, and her aprons, and her prairie dresses and little skirts and long dresses. So today I am Tasha Tudor and I am dedicating my kitchen area to Tasha. If I'm doing a Tasha Tudor kind of theme, what would I do? So I started to think Tasha Tudor loves china, and loves to have tea. So I need to show the china and do tea. Tasha loved gardening. I'm gonna be setting up a whole potting area. I think you're really gonna enjoy this. So I went to Walmart and I got a little haul. We're gonna do a little DIYing. I picked up some of this fabric. I really liked this fabric. It's got the same color as the wall, my pashmina color, and then a brighter gold, which could really work well in both the fall and the spring to brighten up some of the home. I was going to use this for curtains. I could not get a bolt. I could only get 1 yard. So I have to kind of decide if it's worth it or not to me. But as I was looking at it, I thought, well, let me pick it up. And I can always return it if I decide not to use it. So I picked up 6 of them. And then I picked up this calico. I could only get, this is the problem, you know, I could only get 3 yards basically of this, 3¼ yards. So this isn't going to be enough for more than 2 windows. But when I'm working on the whole Tasha Tudor idea, she used calico a lot for her kerchiefs, for her outfits, for her windows. And I don't really have any calico going on in here. So I thought for the spring, calico is a good idea. But also this is very muted. So it could work the spring or the fall. I wouldn't use it at Christmas. Maybe I would, who knows. And we're gonna be doing a project here. We're gonna be working with clay pots and some of those Real Touch tulips. And I'm gonna put them together and I'm going to show you what we're doing in the kitchen. But I wanted a real Tasha Tudor kind of look. So we're going for this. And I need to age a couple of the clay pots. Now I have been outside. Most of my clay pots have been outside, so they're not aged that much. But I wanted to do a DIY and show you how I would age them. I picked up some white paint, and this is called pewter gray, but it's definitely got a greenish tinge to it. So this is going to be kind of used on the outside here to age it. And then we're going to go with this wax, antique wax, also purchased at Walmart, and go over with it. I think it's going to give you a really good look. The other thing that I'm going to do with this is I'm going to age some pictures with this when they come in some canvases. So I picked up actually 4 of these. From what I hear, they're super hard to find, and my Walmart had 4, so I picked them all up. They were $6.50 a piece. Picked up a few brushes, so that a few sponges, so that I could sponge very carefully the look onto, if you sponge it onto the clay pots. And then in my Tasha Tudor look, I've got some burlap, because you can never have enough burlap. And went to the Dollar Tree and I got some twine to hang flowers with and some ribbon. Love this green. It's such a good summer green. And then some moss. I got both Spanish moss and this forest moss. I thought that would be fun to put on the pots. So basically I'm going to get the pots. I'm going to antique them, put a little bit of styrofoam in there, put the flower in there, and then put the moss over it. Super easy project. Anyone can do this DIY. It's gonna look really good. I figure at the end, mine are gonna cost me about $5. Usually buy them for about 20. So since I'm going with a lot, we're going to go with the bargain way. So we're gonna start right here, and I have been working on this already. So I've made a royal mess, but I wanted to work on one and do it before I showed you just how to do it. Here we have a pot, and this pot has been aged by Mother Nature. You can see it's really, really beautiful. So I'm gonna show you how to age a pot. Here's a pot that was not aged very well by Mother Nature. A little bit, but not too much. So we're gonna start. I've actually got dirt in here now. We're gonna start with a wet sponge. This is a moist sponge that I got from Walmart. And I have some pewter gray right here. Walmart, 50 cents. Some white, 50 cents at Walmart. Putting a little pewter gray. I already have some white on there. Pewter gray on my plate, and I'm gonna start with that. So get a sponge. These were about $3 at Walmart. And you're gonna start speckling. Speckle, speckle, speckle. All the way around the top. Top, speckle, speckle, speckle. It can go up as high as you want or as low as you want. It doesn't matter. And then the bottom. Again, as high or as low, doesn't matter. And it honestly just takes you a minute to speckle. You can speckle and drag or just speckle. It doesn't matter. Sometimes I like to drag it a little, make it a little less speckly on the green, because this is your base color for moss. Basically, you want it to look like a base color for moss. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dip into the white. My white's already drying. And I am going to start speckling some white on there. And it's okay if the white and the gray that you've put on there mix, because you want that to happen. You don't want the white to be solid, so you're doing this while the gray is still wet. And go around a couple times, mess with it. There we go. Okay, we're gonna do it on the bottom. Dip in one more time. You're hardly using any paint here, like nothing. No paint. There we go. All dipped, maybe drag a little, dip a little more. There. Now, compare that with this. It's already looking quite a bit similar, isn't it? You can tell this one was painted, but That's okay. This is a craft. So doing it faux is a good thing. All right, now what we're gonna do, and you can wait for it to dry if you want, but I'm taking this antique wax and I just use a little. It's a little more expensive. It's about $6.50, okay? Again, at Walmart. So you can get all this stuff right around your house and start rubbing it on your paint job. And you can rub it as thick as you want or as thin as you want. Now this is acrylic paint, so it dries so quickly that the paint that I just put on is already dry. And this is not stop motion. This is something, look at this. We'll just paint right around this, go right on the clay pot. It's gonna antique the whole thing, just like that. If you want less, you can rub some off. If you want more, you can put another coat on. You can put a coat on where you want it to be. Just have fun with it. Just like that. This is done. And it looks great. You know, you can, if you want your pot to go up and down, you can rub that a little. Gonna rub a little more this way. I'm really in favor of dry brushing as much as possible. So then you don't have a whole lot of extra on there. You don't use a lot. You can see I'm just dry brushing. Of course, I say brush, but it's a sponge. And the sponge isn't dry. The sponge has a tiny bit of water on it that's been squeezed out. This just gives it a little teeny bit of contrast. Should go a little more brown on there. Now you don't want to do this so much that you make your flowers fall off. There, so they're all done. I feel like I want to see a little more on the flower. I always recap your stuff because if you're like me, in the fit of creativity, you're gonna pop it off and it's gonna end up all over the table. You're gonna antique a table you didn't want to antique. I don't want to cry over spilled antique. There we go. Oh, there, those four are all ready. We already know we have to cut about 4 feet off of them, 4 inches. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Vary it a little bit. Sometimes it doesn't click as well. And of course I could have cut them before I stained them. That would have been smart. There, now we have that. And we're gonna go get my already Mother Natured pot. And if you find you cut them too short and you think, I don't like how that looks because my pot's too big, then you don't have to go all the way down. We're going to, I would have bought more of these if they had them at the store. My Dollar Tree was very sparse when it came to supplies yesterday. It's almost like a crafter went in and cleared them out, or they're just low on inventory. Well, you don't have to push it all the way down. These are nice. I like these. So I'm going to go down a little more. There. You want them to be pretty close together. You don't want to like do 3 out here. You want them to clump. It's going to look better that way. Grab your moss and just cover it. Just like that. Depending on where it's sitting, you don't even have to cover it that well. Make another one. Easy, cut it. And you know, if you cut up a little too big, you can always push it in a little because it'll give and break. You don't want to cut it too small, then it goes down too low. So we've got 2 here. Just in the middle. Now we don't have any more purple ones. So that was a little bit of a faux pas. I'm going to use a white one in with the purple ones. And so we're going to chop this. And we're going to cut our 4 inches off of it. And I really want to see how the white one's going to antique. That'll be kind of interesting. Now we're going to get a teeny little, ooh, see, I almost, now if you find you have too much on there, to me this is too much because it's going to give a glob. Dab it on your plate. It doesn't even matter how dirty your plate's getting. I have all kinds of dirt on there now. It doesn't matter. The whole thing is that these are supposed to be like from the garden. So it doesn't matter if there's real dirt on it or Spanish moss on the leaf, or doesn't matter. This one I definitely am going to antique more. I'm going to do this and antique, do the stem, do that little plastic there. Plastic doesn't take it as well as the leaves do, and then very gently, according to your discretion on how you want it to look, rub it along there. Bam. Done. I wanted this darker since it's in with the purple. I felt like the white was gonna be a little too distracting. As again, you can see I'm leaving a lot of white, the whole middle, we're not doing that, and the tops. So the brown will be more on the bottom. And we're gonna plug this in. I'm gonna push this in, whatever you wanna say. Push that all the way down. So they're not all quite the same height. We're going to get our Spanish moss. Put that around there, plug it in a little, and it's done.